The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Of Mice and Men, Aaron Pauley. Aaron, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, brother. How you living?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk new music with Of Mice and Men, and I want to get right to it because we had a lot to cover with the 8th studio album, Tether. Now, I'll try and make this question not confusing. So, 8th total studio album, but it's the 4th with you as lead singer. So my question is, and again, the weird question, if I word it correctly, does it feel maybe like a second, like, quote unquote senior album milestone? Like, obviously this incarnation of the band, you guys have been at it for a while, but finding maybe that second milestone with this group, with Tether hitting that senior album, if that makes sense.
You know, I think I totally get what you're saying. And I agree. I think, you know, we feel so strongly about the material. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, just sort of the modus operandi going into it about what we really wanted to accomplish, which is we really wanted to make something that we felt emotionally connected to and that our audience can feel emotionally connected to, and to focus more on that sort of emotional connection rather than maybe trying to, write the craziest riffs or the gnarliest songs, you know. And so for us, we've always felt like that's what our fans resonate with, because I think for us as musicians and for us as music fans, that's what we resonate with. The hidden emotion in music, you know, music's the universal language. You play somebody a sad song on violin anywhere in the world with no language, and people can pick up on that. And so for us, we really wanted to hone in on those things. And we feel like it's some of our strongest work to date, if not our strongest work to date.
Again, Tether, the latest album, what we're getting from you guys, self-produced album, which you also did on your previous album, Echo. Was there maybe anything that stood out in self-producing this one, maybe compared to Echo, your first time getting behind the producing board and putting on that producer hat?
Yeah, you know, I think there was a lot more confidence in the process, confidence in myself to handle it. And I think with that confidence comes more room to explore creative ideas where you're not pigeonholing yourself into what you think you can accomplish and say, okay, well, I know I can do this, so I'm going to do this. You know, I think having a little bit more confidence opens up a lot of doors for exploration, both sonically, creatively, songwriting wise, especially vocally. I think this record, I probably have more vocal tracks on this record than any other record I've ever done by a lot. Because a lot of it was just fun, you know, a lot of it was fun messing with vocal layers and different harmonies and things like that. And I think the success of Echo and that sort of connecting with our fans sort of gave us the confidence to be able to branch out a little bit more.
Getting more vocals in there and kind of really establishing your prowess as a lead singer. Is that again kind of come in with now the experience, 4th album in with you solely as the lead singer? Is that confidence established? Is now that point where you're like, I am a lead singer, if that's fair to say?
I have like really bad imposter syndrome. So I don't think any amount of success ever makes me feel like, I always feel like at any moment they're going to realize I shouldn't be here, you know? But truthfully, you know, it's, there's just a lot of focus on the songwriting rather than the roles. And I think that when you do that, you can end up assuming the roles easier than if that's sort of the goal, you know?
Right. We've already gotten a taste where I believe we're the 3rd single in. Do you have a favorite favorite track on the album? Is there one that maybe really speaks to you, that really resonates with you?
That's hard. It's kind of like picking a favorite kid. I think
I asked that question. That's why I
yeah, I think, for me personally, I think the song Tether, that song really means a lot to me. Whether I think it's my favorite or it's better, I think that's kind of more subjective. But that song to me really does mean an awful lot, because that song is one that lyrically I wrote, for my loved ones that are going through hard times and losses. The whole concept of the album is about wanting to protect your loved ones from the storms of life. But in reality, all you can really offer is shelter, because you can't stop the storms from coming, Yeah.
Well, I love it. And again, if people haven't heard it, it's out now, so you can hear start to finish. It is a banger and you're going to enjoy it. I love the artwork. I wanted to talk about that because we could talk about music all day and what you guys are doing. I really thought the kind of the Rorschach ink blot test design was really kind of a cool take. I saw a woman and like a black dog when I looked at it, and I'm being serious when I did that. What do you see when you look at it?
I've always like colloquially referred to it as the angel, because to me it sort of looks like an angel wings.
Right.
And Tino, our drummer, hand painted that. So that's actually it's not a digital work. He actually hand painted those and then scanned them. And it was based off of, we for us, the hardest part usually after finishing a record is figuring out the artwork, because that's not where we are most visually inclined. But, Tino went to college for graphic design and he's an amazing artist. And so given the fact that we'd already taken the self-production into our hands, I kind of was just like, T, why don't you give a stab at doing the artwork? And I remember he called me and he's like, I've been going crazy making all these different Rorschachs, and he started sending them to me, and I was like, dude, that's got to be the artwork.
I love it.
And I don't think there's, if you're talking about wanting to create something that is you, as a band, it's you, but in your most distilled and potent version, then I think that there is something about having somebody in the band doing the artwork and stuff as well. It's very self-contained, but no, Tino's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. And like I said, it's just such a cool look, and the colors are beautiful, and it fits so well with what we're hearing on the album, and just really interesting. And I'm sure everyone's going to grab. That's what's so cool about it, is I think much like the music, everyone kind of gets their own interpretation, their own meaning behind it, their own feelings behind it. They can see the same thing when they look at that cover. Everyone's going to see something different. I saw a dog. You saw an angel. So it's something for everyone, man. There's something for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of music. That's where I always try and approach songwriting from. A lot of what I write about is personal to me and comes from personal experiences, but I don't think the audience has any desire to listen to me tell my story. And I think that's self-aggrandizing in a way where I want the listener to hear their story in it.
Yeah.
I want them to hear, I want my voice to be their voice when they're listening to it. I don't want it to be about me, Aaron. I want it to be about them, just being a conduit for the storytelling and not making it about me, but making it about the audience and their stories. And I think that having the Rorschach, and that's something we talked about too, is that's the perfect sort of allegory for that, the visual sort of metaphor, if you will.
I love it. Well, from start to finish, from music to the artwork, we got such a treat here with Tether.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Couple more questions here before we get to rapid fire, and I'll really dig into you. With this album, obviously, and again, kind of going back to my first question, with this incarnation of the band and who we've seen, obviously you guys have been at it. You've been with the band since 2012, so it's not like you're new to it by any means. But, writing stuff now and putting your own take on Of Mice and Men, and even going back to the early days when you had Austin and everything, obviously his talent and everything, is it difficult for you where you're at? Or maybe is there some challenges in digging into those original Of Mice and Men fans and then also with the new ones and trying to find that kind of copacetic middle ground where you're still, paying homage to the original, style, but then also where you guys at and who the band is now.
Yeah, for us, we're a band that we don't like writing the same album twice.
Right.
And we really try and approach everything slightly different than the last go around. For us, I think finding that, like you said, the copacetic middle ground for us was really about honing in on the emotional content of the songs. Finding the marriage between what a song is telling you emotionally from the musical side, and then trying to write lyrics and melodies. I always say my job is to not get in the way of the music. The music does a lot of the speaking. The music has a lot of the emotional content in it. And so my job is to try and not get in the way of that, but to try and complement it. And that's sort of the way I've always looked at it. But I think for us, really wanting to connect on a way that we felt like we did. The first album that I did with the band was Restoring Force, and that album was, life-changing for us. And the entire MO of that record, working with David Bendith, was hone in on this emotional content in your music so that the audience has something that can, feed their soul for a little bit. Because that's what music does, it's what it does for all of us. It's why we give our lives to it, We make lots of sacrifices for music, and it's because it does so much for us, For us, I think the more you try and use logic to sort of bridge that gap, I think the easier it is to sort of lose your way. But I think if you focus on the feeling, that you can't go wrong.
I love it. Good, better.
You might make something that isn't their favorite, but it will be honest and it will find the right people.
Well, we're finding this one again. Tether, the latest album, 8th studio album from the guys. Final question before we get to rapid fire. What song on Tether would be the best one for Menace to Society to cover?
Oh, God. Man, that's a good question.
For everyone who doesn't know, Menace to Society was Aaron's first band when he was 13 years old. So I want to know.
I was in 8th grade. So I would have to say, man, my 8th grade self couldn't really do a lot. I think any of them would be a challenge. Maybe Indigo.
Indigo. I love it.
Yeah. Indigo is musically not terribly complicated. It's more supposed to be open and easy. It's more of a free-falling kind of ethereal big sound, so it's not as technical. But man, what a call out.
Yeah, I figured we could see you guys, in your mom's basement or your buddy's garage being Menace to Society. I could see you now in your black t-shirts. You probably had what, Korn t-shirts on?
Oh yeah, Korn t-shirts, wearing sweatpants, going to the skate park. Oh yeah, you nailed it.
I love it. Again, Tether from Of Mice and Men, awesome album, and can't wait to hear more from you guys. I know you're going to be busy promoting this one, and we'll see you out there. Before I let you go, let's do rapid fire, and we'll get to know a little bit more about Aaron Pauley, a deeper side of Aaron Pauley. There's no wrong answers. You just go with your gut, okay?
All right, sounds good.
First one, everybody Whang Chung or everybody was Kung Fu Fighting?
Everybody Whang Chung Tonight's a banger.
It is a banger, right? Right?
Yeah, it is. I think maybe that one. I think that song might slap, no pun intended, just a little harder.
Billy Squier or Billy Ocean?
Billy Ocean.
I like it. Caribbean Queen. Great song.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Caribbean Queen.
Flintstone Push-Pop or Choco Taco?
Oh, man. I can taste both of them. Flintstone Push-Pop.
Flintstone Push-Pop. I like it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And as it melts, it turns into this weird goo that isn't exactly ice cream or yogurt or who knows what it is. That's crazy. I haven't had one of those in probably 20 years, and I can taste it.
You can taste it. It becomes that coagulated sugar mess, kind of like a shot in that little cardboard tube right there. So
perfect.
Soaked jeans or damp socks?
Soaked jeans.
Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster? Who'd you rather see?
Bigfoot.
Have you ever had or felt like you had a Bigfoot encounter or close to?
No.
No?
I feel like I've definitely seen UAPs and weird orb stuff. Out in Palm Springs, out in the desert, and then off I live in Huntington Beach, so off the coast of Catalina, they see stuff. But no, I never had a Bigfoot encounter. I live too far from the woods. Bigfoot's not coming down to Huntington Beach,
He's not doing any surfing. I actually went to broadcasting school in Huntington Beach, so I used to pal around there, PCH and all the good stuff. Is there still a place called Sharky's down.
100%. Yep, 100%.
Dude, that's so funny, man. We used to go troll for ladies all the time, just down right there. I think, is that Beach Boulevard? Is that what it is?
So that's Main Street is where I think Sharky's is, like PCH in Maine, and they have that. The Sharky's, I think they're known for their like rainbow drink, right?
Something like that, yeah. But that's where like the big surfing statue is, isn't it?
That might have been Hurricanes.
Yeah, Hurricanes.
Yeah. That the statue's like Duke's downtown.
Right, yeah, good. It's been, again, that was when I was 20 years old, so quite some time ago. But it's cool that you're in the old stomping grounds there. Okay, last one. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
One horse-sized duck.
You were quick on that answer, confident on that one.
Yeah, because, dude, 100 of anything is an awful lot. Like, imagine 10. Just imagine 10 of them, and then 10 times that. So I'd rather take one larger opponent than 100 small ones. That would be terrifying.
Yeah, either way, right? Well, thank you for humoring me. More important, Aaron, thank you for talking new music of Mice and Men, Tether. It's out now. Go get it. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for the time.
Of course. And thank you so much for the continued support throughout the years. I always love when we get a chance to talk. Thank you again for spinning the new record and for sharing it with people and for all you do for music and the sacrifices you make to bring rock and roll to the masses. So,
hell, you're too
appreciate you.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.